everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Annette, and today I'm going to make a winter scene card, and I'm going to be using Gina K inks and some of her supplies. I'm going to be using this stencil called Sea, Sun, and Sky. This is a really cool stencil because you can make sky and sun and like ocean waves. I'm going to use this part of the stencil to make snowdrifts. So there's many ways you can make snowdrifts. You can just take white cardstock and you can just take your scissors and cut, wavy design, and that could be the snowdrift. Or you could do a couple different, one coming in this way and one coming this way. There are dyes that can create that effect. I don't have any of those dyes, and I have cut snowdrifts, but I'm going to try the stencil and see how that looks. I think it'll look really nice. And then I'm going to use some of these stamps from the Stamptember Stay Cozy clear stamp set from Gina K and Simon Says Stamp. So let's start with our card panel, and let's start with the snowdrifts. Let's just start with that. I'm debating on the sky whether to do some ink blending, or I may just keep this very simple and soft. So what I want to do, I have this paper towel that I've been using. Let me just flip it over. I'm just going to rub whatever green I had on this brush, get most of that off. You don't have to clean them thoroughly. They just rub off any of the heavy excess ink. And then I'm going to secure this panel down to my work surface, just so it doesn't move around since I'm using a stencil. So this is just a low tack tape runner, and I'm going to just put that down. Now I have decided I really love these three inks from Gina K. Light spruce, medium spruce, and dark spruce. And I'm going to try to do this card with just these colors. I was going to use black for like silhouette stamping for the trees. I was thinking about doing the pine trees in black, but I think what I'm going to do is stamp them in various shades of the spruce colors to give the illusion of distant trees and trees in the foreground. So that's what I'm going to do. That's my plan, but I'm going to use the light spruce. And I'm kind of debating between light spruce and the sea glass for the snowdrift. So that's just a toss-up. Let's just try the light spruce just because, and I'm just going to use a very, very light hand, because when I use it for the trees, I'll go a little bit darker. So I'm just going to position this as if it were a snowbank. All right, and I'm going to go very, very lightly. In fact, I'm just off camera here. I'm tapping off that excess ink, and ever so lightly. I'm keeping my hands off of the top. When you position your finger on the top, it tends to push down on that brush head, and that can put a lot of ink down. So I'm just going to keep my fingers off the top and just go very lightly just along the edge. It doesn't look like much, but when you remove it, you can see it. Then I'm going to come in this way and do it again. And I don't know if you can see that. It's so faint. It's so faint. Now I could try to line this up again, and just to see, we may totally ruin it. I'm going to try some sea glass. If I don't like it, I can always flip it over. So let's see. This might not be a good idea, but I'm curious. I'm just going to go real light. Because you know how sometimes snow has that blue effect? It actually doesn't look horrible, so just kind of lining it up where it was. Oh yeah, I like that. I may even go this way. Give a little glow in there. All right. I really like that. You can kind of see that that is drifting. All right. So then I think what I'll do for the sky is that light spruce that I already have on my brush. I'm just gonna go around the edges of the sky area just to soften it. It might be hard to see on camera, but it's really just softening up that sky area. And why not? Let's bring in some of the sea glass and do the same. I wasn't planning on this, but I really do like how that's looking. Okay. All right. So let's leave the spruce out, and I think I'm going to be done with these inks. Okay. So now let's get to doing some stamping, I believe. And I think what I'll do is just stamp these without my Misti tool. I'm going to really be brave and try to just, if I can, hand stamp these. We're gonna see. All right, so I'm just gonna pull some of these out, and I think what I want to do is I want to put some trees along the background, like in the distance trees. So I'm going to, I don't want to put the whole, I want to put the big trees, like the full stamp in the foreground. So in the distance, I'm just going to do the bottom. So I'm just putting on the block the bottom part of the trees, and then I'll stamp them. But I don't want to use this one first. Let's use some of these trees that I can do in the distance. All right, we'll do some of these, and let's do the light spruce. Get my inks in the same spot, and then we're just going to, and I'm going to stamp off. Okay, and we'll do some more. I'm going to stamp probably over these with black. Let's go here. And we'll leave that open like it's a path. All right. And don't worry if some of the ink didn't get in the middle, because we're going to add another shape tree. And we're going to use the same ink because I just want some variation. Trees in the distance. Okay. A few of those. Now we're going to use, let's use the same stamp, and then we're going to go with the medium spruce color. All right, and then I'm going to just stamp. So these trees will have the illusion of looking closer. Maybe put one right there. All right, and maybe put one off to the side here. All right, now I want to bring in, and I also want to do a deer. I just have to figure out where I want these guys. And I want to do the big tree too. I don't have a stamping block that's larger than this, so I'm going to try to do it on an angle and see if I can get a lot of that on there. And that, for this color, we're going to use Dark Spruce. So let's do that next. Get some good ink on here, because this is a really cool color. This dark spruce is really cool. Oh boy. And we'll go here and see what happens. We'll go right about like that. This always makes me nervous. Oh, that looks pretty good. Okay, we'll ink it up again, and we'll just do kind of smaller set here. You have to commit, you just have to do it. All right. And then look at that, you're creating a nice winter scene. Now I want to make sure I do have ink on my hands, so I really want to be careful not to get ink where I don't want it. Okay, so I am going to use Gina K Designs black onyx for the deer. Let's see, we could do a mama and a baby right here, and if they overlap the trees, that's fine. That would actually look good. Okay, maybe like that. Let's see what that looks like. Let's clean this stamp off and put that away and pick these guys up. Okay. All right, let's get them inked up. I actually like to, I feel better going onto the stamp with the ink. That way I can see the coverage. You can kind of see it's even coverage. All right, and then where do you want it? We're going to put her right about there. Once you drop it, be careful not to move it. And there you go. So there's those two. I like how this is looking, but I'm not done yet. I have another idea. I was gonna do more with the sky, but I kind of just like this simple scene, and it gives enough interest and detail to look like there's a pathway over there. Like, where does that go to? So let me get some of this stuff out of the way. And I'm gonna let this dry for just a minute. Put these away. Actually, I need to use a greeting from this stamp set too. So let's put that out of the way. And I think I'm gonna put Stay Cozy. I'm gonna just do that. So let's stamp Stay Cozy, and we will get out the mini Misti for this. And I'm just gonna use some scrap paper. And I am going to use the die cut to cut it out from the set, from the Gina K Designs and Simon Says Stamp Stay Cozy Messages die set. If I can get them out. I think I may have to cut, because I have not cut all these out. And yeah, the Stay Cozy is still connected, so let's put these away and get the snips out and get that snipped. I did this in my last video, so we'll get that down. Let me get my snips. And here I'm just using the Hero Arts snips. And the goal here is just to get as close in to the die as you can and just snip that metal off. And then this one has a couple loose pieces, so I'm just going to go over to the trash can and snip that. So I have that ready to go. So let's go ahead and stamp this down. I want to prime it because I've not used this stamp before, so I'm just running my finger across it. And again, we're going to use Gina K Black Onyx for this and just lightly tap. Get some ink on there. If we have to stamp it again, that's fine, but remember not to press too hard because you want You want those nice crisp lines. So just give that ink some time to transfer. And there we go. So we'll let that dry. Wipe off the stamp and we will put it away. All right. This is such a fun stamp set. And it's, you know, it's good for the holidays or even just all winter long. If what I really like about it is it has a birthday greeting. So if you know, someone has a winter birthday, this will make great birthday cards for that. All right, now they're all put away. Okay, so we will die cut this out, and I still want to do one more thing with the sky. So let's go ahead and die cut this sentiment out. Put that there. Let me zoom out a little bit. And then just line up your die. Just take your time doing this, and that way you don't have to stamp it all over again. Line it up and tape it down. Run her through. Okay. Okay, come on. And there you go. These sentiments and die cuts are just so pretty. Okay, and then if you want, you could always cut one or two more of just the die, and then you can glue them, stack them, and make it a little bit thicker in dimension. But for now, I'm just going to leave that the way it is. All right. Now, let's see, where's my panel? Here it is. I'm going to do one more thing to this, I think, before I glue it together, is I want to put some effects of snow on it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some embossing powder. Let me get a piece of this just plain copy paper, because that'll catch my powder. And I'm going to bring in this embossing powder. It's holographic. It's from Ranger. Okay, so I have another idea. I am pulling in another stamp from the Gina K Designs Thoughtful Flowers stamp set. And I'm going to use this stamp. It kind of looks like splatter, but I think if this works, it'll be a miracle. But I'm going to bring out my stamping block, and I'm just going to put this on there, and I'm going to use Simon Says Stamp Clear Embossing and Watermark ink, and I'm just going to stamp it and randomly turn it and just put the watermark ink on here, and then the embossing powder, and then we'll melt it and we will see if that works. I have no idea if this is going to work. So I took my heat tool off camera and I heated this up and made sure this is completely dry, because I thought it'd be better if it was just completely dry before we start putting this powder everywhere. All right, so here it goes. Let's just ink it up. Let's just start off and just put it randomly all over. Let's see what happens. Can't even see where I'm putting it. I have no idea what this is gonna look like, but let's just try it. You guys are coming along the ride with me. All right, and then we're just gonna pick this up and dump the powder everywhere, because I don't know where those dots are, but it should adhere to the dots. Okay, I can see it, and I want to set that aside, and I do want to put this back into the jar before I get it everywhere. Okay, put the lid on it. Get that out of the way. Let me just go wipe this off into the trash. Like a glitter bomb in here. Oh, okay, it's everywhere. All right, now let's bring this back in here, and I'm going to bring in my little clothespin and hold it where I can see there is no embossing powder. Then we're just going to heat the tool up and give this a melt. All right, well, I mean, I can see it here. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to get the light to capture it, but it does I think you can see that. It does glisten. So that's really pretty. And you know, you can do it again. You can just repeat it, just ink, you know, stamp it again with the embossing and watermark ink, and you can do it again. Another thing we can do is, I know I keep saying I'm finished with this card, but I want to do one other thing. I am going to take, let's take a different color. I'm pulling in a new color, Moonlit Fog. And let's do this. Let's clean off our stamp. Where's my water? Clean off the stamp. So this is what happens when you're making cards or crafting, doing anything. You just, a lot of times, the road, you pivot. You just take another route. But I'm going to put some ink down. And this is, again, Gina K Designs Premium Dye Ink in Medium Fog. And we're going to put some water down, just a little bit. Pick it up. We're going to splatter. We're just going to splatter right here. I'm not bringing my splatter box out. Let's just see what this looks like. And we'll just put a little bit. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I think that now adds, there's some shimmer and shine and some splatter. So that is all I'm going to do. Since this needs to dry, I'm going to make it dry with my heat tool. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. And we still have the greeting to put on. So let's go ahead and do that. And let me get my big arm out of the way. And we just want to decide where we're going to put that. I think we're just going to put it right in the middle there. So we'll use my Gina K Connect glue. All right. And I'm going to put it right above where the path is. I like that. Let's put the owl on it for just a second. And then all we have to do is put this up on a matte layer and on a card base, and we have a card. We have another card. So I just have the matte layer here, and this is a 4" by 5 1/4. And for the matte layer, I use, I use 65-pound weight cardstock. I have glitter everywhere. I need to get this piece of paper out of my life right now. All right, let's put this down. Actually, I'm going to use tape runner for the panel. All right, you just want to go along the edges real well. Hit the middle a couple times. All right. And just make sure you have an even margin all the way around. Commit. And let's get a card base. All right. And this is going to be USA2 landscape orientation. So this is 8.5 sheet of paper by 5.5. And it's going to be scored or folded in half at 4 1/4. I'm not going to score it today. I did that in my last video, but I'll show you if you don't have a scoring board, just fold it over and meet the corners and crease it down, and then you can take the edge of anything. I'm using a bone folder. You can use the stamp pad, but just crease it down so it lies nice and flat. If you have a logo, get that on there. Make sure it's on the back, the right side, and it's opening the right way. And then I am going to take my Gina K Connect glue and glue this down. And we'll do a little smile face. No one will know. No one will know, but it's there. And that is I think, a beautiful winter scene using a beautiful stamp set. So many possibilities with this one. But there you go. And it does have shimmer and shine. I really hope the camera is catching it. I think right there it is a little bit, but it looks so pretty. I'll try to capture that in my photo at the end of the video, but that is the finished card. All right, I want to thank you for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and like and share the video if you think somebody might enjoy this crazy process of card making and maybe want to give it a try themselves. That's how I got into it. I just randomly saw a video, and I mean, I've never done this before, but somehow a video on YouTube popped up on my feed, and I thought I'll watch it, and I wanted to try it. It was a hobby that it is a hobby that I enjoy, but I've never done it before. So share it. You just never know how it might brighten up someone's day. And until next week, I hope you join me for that. I put a video up every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Until then, make it a great day.